redeployed. I'm gonna guess that it's probably somewhere inside this field. But it looks like they redeployed that AT gun somewhere. And it looks like they managed to pop off that Churchill right away. That's rather unfortunate, because that would have been very, very useful in assaulting this village here. Right, so unfortunately it looks like we won't have, say, terribly much combat power for making any offensive plays inside that area. I'm gonna see whether or not we could do slightly better inside this area over here. Now this manor is gonna be, I'd say, quite a problem. Damn, I really could have used keeping that Churchill tank alive, but unfortunately it's just, well, it's just gone now. Right, so let's see what we can do here with our Bren sections and our infantry. See whether or not we can get a jump at those Panzer Grenadiers. And yeah, there. Looks like one of those AT guns were deployed inside our rear. And look at that crew run. That's some of the fastest running I've seen inside this game just yet. Looks like that crew has deserted the fight, so they're just toughing it over there. They're running away real fast. Right, well, that IT gun, apart from taking down my one Churchill tank, so long as we know where it is now, it's not going to be, say, that much of a threat. And with that said, I'm considering ignoring it, to be frank. I mean, we don't need to take it down is one thing. And I'm under the impression that it might just be better to avoid it. And if we avoid it, I'm going to try to cap these other locations. And of course, once we can do that, that would be very, very handy. Let's get these guys away from the sides of the buildings that AT gun can open on up. Stuart tank, let's get that over here. It looks like that Panzer Grenadier squad over here is dead, so I'll try to cap the church. And I'll try to sneak behind them and probably loop around these German troops. We'll see whether or not we can do that. So yeah, usually I find that the battles are more or less centered on where your troops start during the deployment phase than anything. And with that said, currently we're in a bit of a jam right now. These Panzer Grenadiers are in the open. My rifle squad can fire on them. I hope they will. I'm going to give them an ambush command, so when those Panzer Grenadiers get close up, they will hopefully throw down a few frag grenades and kill them all. So that'll be that. The Stuart tank's moving, so that's good. Some troops inside the church. Those are definitely things the Churchill can take down easily once it gets in range. Come on. I didn't shoot there, so I don't really know what that is. Probably just a really, really stray mortar round. Now the question I'm wondering right now is, should I use our 2 artillery barrages on like one of these buildings like here, which will hopefully just eviscerate the building and just absolutely annihilate everything inside it? Or alternatively even, I mean, the AT gun up here. Or should I save it and see whether or not we can push forward through these Panzer Grenadiers to get something behind their lines, preferably, say, a big clump of HQs and mortars, perhaps? Something like that. Don't really know. See what happens here. Come on, these guys should shoot there, these guys should shoot there. There we go. Get the nice frag relay going on. It's a shame that it isn't doing much damage, though. Oop. There we go. Now, in reality, these Stuart tanks, actually, they used to come with canister rounds, I believe. Not really sure if the game does them, but those are definitely very interesting sort of vehicles there. They have these canister shot rounds, and they're effectively giant shotgun blasts, and I think all of the, or at least the vast majority of the Stuart tanks had them. At least the Allies ones had them. I'm not really sure about the Russian sort of loaned ones from the US. That was a nice shot. I think that got more than 2 people. Nope, looks like just one. Injured the second guy, though. I want to say it's probably best to use those barrages on that church building. Don't really know. There we go. Looks like these guys, Hey! I think I saw two surrendering people inside that squad. It disappeared now, so I guess they returned to their original state. Damn it, those MG42s are really ripping up these guys. This platoon HQ is all dead. Sprint section isn't doing much better. Let me pull up that. Where is that menu? Where is that menu? There we go. Let's see. Yeah, platoon HQ is dead. Churchill is unfortunately gone. Now let's see. These guys are still good, so I think I'll try to sniff out some fire from that building. I want to see whether or not we can take this manor, this turn, or this battle. Hopefully we can. And it looks like over here, damn it, there's only 2 people left inside this Panzer Grenadier squad. Yet nonetheless, our forces just don't seem to be able to take it out here. There we go. Right, so that squad of Panzer Grenadiers is probably dead. The ones over here at the crossed hedge, I want to say, are still alive. They might be panicked or too pinned down to move, so I'll try to open up like that with our tank and see whether or not that takes care of them. Well, one more Panzer. Oh no, these two. There we go. That squad's gone. Right, so the only thing left is the stuff inside the church. That shouldn't be too bad. Doesn't look like there's anything. Oh, no, is there anything inside this building? The market keeps on flashing over here, saying that there's some sort of infantry squad still alive inside this manor, or at least I saw it flash before. Huh. Looks like that it looks like that manor is actually cleared right now. So I'll give these guys a sneak order, because again, I believe that if you issue them a sneaking order, they'll stop when they take fire. So do that. Down here, let's see. Yeah, so that Zugtrupp is dead. Hopefully, I really hope that this church and that building are both cleared. So I'll try to move into that. Oh, I should note that, like, usually with the close combat games, usually churches, they have an absurdly high tower location. So as you can see here, there's a 4-story sort of a tile right here, but this only applies to this small bracket right here, I believe. It'll actually show us a better depiction of that once we get into it, where I think the building will open up like over here, where if you have your troops, the top of the building will come off, but only that tiny tile over there is truly the 4-story area. It's kind of a neat feature for the game. I really like to use those locations. Alright, so our infantry crossing here, they're not taking fire, so that's definitely a good sign. And over here, these guys are, yeah, now they're crawling. Sometimes they walk. I don't really know why. Oh wow, this squad's, oh, this was actually originally only 2 people. I was under the impression that it was more, but oh well. And right, it looks like they're doing a pretty admirable job right there. Church tower is taken, and as you can see, this middle portion is its own structure in a sense. And I believe once the vast majority of the squad gets inside that tower, they will be able to see practically everything now. Yeah, so the only thing blocking them is, of course, the buildings. Hedgerows, oddly enough, I think the hedgerows block them slightly, but it's not that much. Right, so it looks like this area is fine. People inside the church tower seem to be receiving minute fire from this area. Yeah. Seems to be still a few enemy troops right here. We've got the steward to open up. These guys are ambushing this. Oh, this Panzer Grenadier Zug actually still has some fight to it, so we'll get rid of those guys. And you know what? Seeing as how we have these barrages, I might as well use them. So I'll put the mortar there. And I see some foxholes over here, so I'm under the impression that this is a mortar pit right here. Just going off of the previous experiences with the AI. So drop some fire on them. And I really hope that is a mortar pit, not just like empty foxholes, because I could have used that howitzer drop to, of course, blow up the AT gun up there. But I think it's the right call. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so their morale broke again. We gained only one victory location though. Let's see which one it is. Ah, it's the nice middle of the crosshairs Hydra over here, so that's not bad. And yeah, next turn we'll only have to press forward and grab those two tiles, so that's not bad either. And there we go, that's the map control. How many losses did we take? We took about 14 in infantry, 14, 18 in total over there. They took definitely a decent amount. Right, so that's good, and that'll start off the third turn effectively here, where, yeah, it's like the third turn. So we'll do LP, T3, 5, or yeah, T3, and then I think part 5, because right now I've been using parts and also turns, so it's been slightly confusing. So I think that'll be good. And yeah, now we can move into another deployment phase. I hope that these tanks... Oh, perfect, we also have a, let's see, we have a tank, I want to say, is that, yeah, battalion over here, so that's good. We've been reinforced with that. Been reinforced with a few more infantry ones, armed with, of course, those Churchill tanks and stuff like that. You know what, I actually don't need this mini-map, this is kind of useless for us right now. And let's see what we can do. Right, so no more artillery or mortars for this turn, which is rather unfortunate. Oh yes, and you also have plane support in 2 forms, artillery support in 2 forms, mortar in 1 form, and this yellow/orange button here with the parachute. It's not actually infantry or airborne troops. It's a supply drop. So if you have isolated units, you can use that to really clear them up. And as you can see here, with all my on the start of a turn, because we are literally like right next to these supply dumps, our fuel and ammo sort of values will just effectively always stay at 100 because of, well, the fact that they are right next to those troops. Right, so that's one thing, and looks like we can do some movement this turn. I'm going to see whether or not we can get these infantrymen to... Looks like we can move from over here. I'm going to try to bypass some of these infantry troops just to get around them. Now, in the previous games, they didn't have this feature where you can have 2 overlapping formations in one area. They used to only have the ability to move like one to one location, and the other one sort of like a switching position type of role. So now I believe you can... I want to get this tank formation to do the attacking here, and I know there's an option for that because I saw it last time. No, actually, no, you know what? We'll get, no, that's not what we'll do. Cancel that attack, we'll get those guys to stay. But unfortunately, this tank regiment just can't move forwards. That's rather unfortunate. Yeah, because, and again, this whole multi-overlapping feature is new to me here. I'm under the impression that if I move the 6 Royal Scots Fusiliers over here to this tile here, the one barrel of the minor supply depot, what will happen is that we'll still have to obviously fight the battle at Saint Mavieu over here, but the tank forces will start off with default positions, meaning that the enemy won't just sort of start off inside the bottom corner, they'll have the full map again, and obviously that's a bit of a pain, but at the same time, I'm looking at some of these maps, and currently we have, of course, an infantry battalion and a tank battalion. I'm looking at these maps and I'm saying to myself whether or not these maps are infantry maps versus tank maps here. So we already have one troop bypassing over here. There's not really too many options down here. I'm just going to get the Cromwells to move forwards along with the infantry over here. I'm going to see what merging them actually does. We can merge them to make a stronger force, but of course that also has the penalties of you obviously have less formations to maneuver with, and you also have less forces there. Let's see. The thing here is that this particular tile, it's a town, and obviously with only tanks in that setting, it wouldn't be optimal, especially due to the fact that they don't really have too many tanks over here. So I think I'll get the infantrymen to advance over there. This battle will continue just sort of like such, because I don't think we have too many maneuver opportunities there. And, actually, if I shift the infantrymen over here, next turn, I'm going to assume that hopefully this Guile Orchards tile is unoccupied. And if I move 2 units down here like this, get the battles up here to continue, I might be able to actually trap off these 3 different infantry regiments in our starting zones effectively. And I might be able to actually wipe them out like that, so I'm thinking, what should I do here? Because the safe thing would be to continue these battles, aka cancel these movement orders that I've just given, so that for sure, I mean, we have a very, very good chance of pushing these Panzer Grenadier units back 1 tile. But on the other hand, if I sort of bypass them like this, we'll have to restart these fights back from sort of square 1. But at the same time, we also have the chance of encircling these 3 units to kill them off and to eliminate them from the rest of the game. And with that said, it'd be kind of risky because to be frank, I'm not terribly sure about the mechanics at play here. But at the same time, it'd be definitely worth our time. Remove 3 different formations from them, and of course, when we advance down into this area, that would be really rather helpful. You know what? I think we'll leave off here, and then when I come back, we'll do that. Kind of like a little cliff hanger type of thing. Right, so we'll do LP T3 P51.